Ethan was lying in his small room. Midnight had already passed, but he couldn't sleep. The old wardrobe in the corner of his room had its door slightly ajar. He hated looking at it at night because he always felt like something was moving inside. That night, a thin, high-pitched voice came from the wardrobe. He heard a whisper, "Ethan." Ethan froze in his bed. He wanted to pull the blanket over his head, but he couldn't stop staring at the wardrobe. Suddenly, the wardrobe door creaked open a bit more, and a small glowing piece of paper fluttered to the ground. Ethan slowly climbed out of bed to pick it up. The paper had a message on it. "Come to the forest. A secret game awaits you." Ethan was scared, but he couldn't resist the strange invitation. Quietly, he opened his bedroom door, grabbed his shoes from the hallway, and snuck outside. Behind their house was a dark and eerie forest. The moonlight barely filtered through the thick branches of the towering trees. Ethan's heart was racing, but the mystery on the paper was pulling him in. A few minutes into the forest, Ethan spotted a doll sitting at the base of a tree. Its eyes seemed to follow him as he moved closer. Then the doll suddenly came to life and spoke in a high-pitched voice. "Ethan, welcome to the game. Now run." The doll started moving toward him, and Ethan screamed, running as fast as he could. But no matter which direction he turned, the trees seemed to block his way, forming an unbreakable wall. With every step, he heard whispers behind him, "You can't escape." Eventually, Ethan stumbled into a clearing. In the middle stood a strange, large stone. The stone had something carved into it. "Take one last step forward, or stay here forever." Ethan knew he had no other choice. He stepped onto the stone, and everything around him began to spin. When he opened his eyes, he was back in his room. Morning sunlight was streaming through the windows. He glanced at the wardrobe, and it was closed. But something caught his attention. Sitting in front of the wardrobe was the